Truth be told, nothing beats the feeling of having mounds of horsepower directly under your foot in a truck that's planted so low that it makes head spin. But if you apply these mods to a daily driver, you may come to grips that your beast mode pickup may not be so fun in rush hour traffic, and its lowered stance can make the act of rolling over speed bumps in grocery store parking lots seem like trekking over Mount Everest. If this sounds like some problems you would like to avoid, let's discuss how you can create the perfect balance of coolness and practicality with a daily driven truck. So if you've gotten this far, chances are you're like me and cannot stand driving boring vehicles. I think it must be deep-rooted in our DNA that we need to embrace a uniqueness that defines our individual personalities. We don't just have gasoline flowing through our veins, we have a steadfast need to push the boundaries of our automotive passion. In a nutshell, we see through the confinement of conformity and bluntly choose to take a completely different path. We would rather endure suffering the troubles of setbacks or growing pains than to coast along with the normality that so many blindly follow. This sense of expression means everything to us. If you feel like a bird that can't be caged because your feathers are too bright, driving a normal vehicle is simply not an option. Now, I mostly discuss trucks from the mid-century to early 2000s, which you will probably want to mod for the sake of reliability and even comfort so you can drive them on a regular basis. However, I do think that most of this can be relevant to modern trucks as well. So where exactly should you start the customization journey on your truck? Well, first of all, hopefully you have a fully functional pickup that can get you to and from with little or no issues. Though, little issues can turn into wish lists for bigger items like gutting your powertrain in lieu of planning in a whole new system that will deliver more power without hesitation. Because why simply solve a problem if you can improve on it? However, I don't think performance mods should come first unless you are building a race vehicle, which is not what we are talking about anyways. Since style is the biggest part of why we have such admiration for our trucks, giving them a bit of an attitude adjustment is pretty much a necessity. And your first mod is basically like breaking the ice, as it can dictate what you do with the rest of your ride. Lowering your truck even just a couple of inches will give you at least a taste of the custom truck lifestyle. Since I am talking about only a slight modification, the impact will be small enough to not create any issues besides a little bit of a firmer ride. But you will benefit from a lower center of gravity, hence enhancing performance capabilities. And if you want to go lower, you can, or if you want to return back to stock form, it shouldn't be an issue. But if you do get this taste and decide to go further, you should be aware of some possible impediments. I think with most trucks, it is easy to knock a few inches out of the suspension. On Chevys and Fords, you can easily do a 4 to 5 inch drop with some of the lowering kits that are on the market, but that will be the limit for simple bolt-on parts. And to the owners of classic Dodge trucks, going low on them is not easy and requires some more know-how to get it done. Anyways, going even lower with Chevy and Ford trucks will bring you past the limitations of the factory suspension, and you will need to seek out more complex changes like swapping out the front crossmember and notching of the rear frame. Coilovers will be the optimum choice here, as they will allow you to tune the suspension to be super smooth. I've driven trucks with this setup, and it's amazing for both daily drivers and for performance-minded builds. So if you want to go low and maintain a comfortable riding truck, coilovers are the way to go. Moderate static suspension systems will be a bit rougher, but hey, that's a trade-off you might want to make, as they are budget and install friendly. But if you can afford a coilover system, I think they are a solid choice. I am currently working on going further with my 62 GMC by adding a full TCI coilover chassis for ride quality and performance. Since I have experience driving trucks with similar setups, I am fully confident this is the ultimate route, and I will share my experiences when this truck is done. Yes, lowering is a sweet mod, but if you slam your truck, you might find that driveways and speed bumps can become an issue. The alternative to this is an adjustable suspension system that utilizes either airbags or hydraulics. In the truck scene, we tend to use airbags for their superior softness, but if you want to dig further into the subject, you can watch a previous video I made about airbags versus hydraulics by clicking the link in the description. Diving deeper, these adjustable systems are nice, but it's up to personal preference whether you use them on a daily. I did and can tell you it worked most days, and at this point I don't think I'd ever bag another truck I own. Do bear in mind that my setup was added 2 decades ago and the tech on this equipment has changed. I had several issues like generating power for compressors, air valves failing, and overall more required maintenance. I did finally fix most of the issues, but it still was more of a hassle to operate than simply jumping in a fixed lower vehicle. With that being said, I would not recommend airbags on a daily. Once you've figured out the height of your truck, the next mod for a daily is changing the wheels and tires. And let's be clear here, rolling a tire is definitely a make or break mod as far as styling is concerned. Now, billet wheels are the top choice for most custom truck builders as they offer amazing styling options in a wheel that's stronger and lighter than cast aluminum wheels. But they are not cheap and could cost you around $4,000 to $6,000 or more for a set of 4. Going even deeper, forged wheels offer superior strength and weight savings for those racing their vehicles. Honestly, these are overkill for daily drivers and can come at an even steeper cost of entry. Alternatively, many opt for either steel or cast aluminum wheels. Detroit steel wheels are popular for that old school look, and though they can weigh a little more, they are very strong and pretty affordable at around $1,500 a set. If you don't care for these styles, there are loads of cast aluminum options on the market. Some look better than the others here, as some designs are pretty out there, but you can find sets for around $2,000, so they can be budget friendly too. When it comes to cast aluminum wheels versus steel wheels, cast wheels can be weaker and more prone to have imperfections. So if you often drive over rough terrain, you might want to be a little more cautious, especially if you're running wheels larger than 18 inches. Speaking of size, chances are you will want to increase your wheel size to improve looks. But there is also a trade-off with this. Adding bigger wheels means you will be running a lower profile tire with less sidewall height versus a stock tire. Dropping the extra material means there's less cushion to soften the blow from driving over bumps and potholes. However, low profile tires are more responsive in high performance situations and hold up better while you sling your truck around corners. When it comes to tires for custom trucks, Nitto actually has some great options. Starting with the NT555 G2, these tires are great for sportier trucks that aren't hauling trailers or heavy loads. These are not super high mileage tires, but they do offer a stickier compound for incredible gripping power. For heavier trucks and SUVs, I would recommend the stylish NT420V as it was designed to perform on these bigger vehicles. But what I think can be a great tire for daily driven trucks is the Motivo 365, which is an ultra high performance all-weather tire that's capable of running over 60,000 miles in the right circumstances. I bought a set for my daily at around $600 for a set of 18s, and I can tell you they are a great value. I can also tell you they work excellent in wet weather, and I even ran them on a racetrack and they held up very well. Speaking of going fast, turning a truck into an absolute rocket ship can be super fun. Especially when life gets stressful, it can be so soothing to blast on the highway or through some scenic route. If you're a weekend renter, executing complex mods like an engine swap might not be an obtainable option unless you have another vehicle to drive during the install. Instead, adding some bolt-on parts like a camshaft, heads, intakes, and even exhaust can be done in shorter amounts of time. I've even installed a supercharger in a day, but I don't think it was operational for another few days as the computer needed to be tuned for the new edition. Now, all of these mods are great for putting a smile on your face when you smash the gas pedal, but they might make commutes a bit of a task. Some of these performance mods may cause your engine to run warmer, and if you don't upgrade the cooling system, sitting and waiting at red lights can cause an engine to overheat. Also, having a high horsepower engine that vibrates can be annoying if you're stuck in heavy traffic. I know all about this as I have been in this situation. My 62 GMC has a 383 stroker small block Chevy engine, and I used to drive it in rush hour traffic. Though my drive was about 40 minutes long, it was annoying but not aggravating. Some people sit for hours in traffic, and that would be a bad situation for high performance pickups. On top of this, high power engines will consume fuel quicker. I swear I used to hear my truck slurping fuel like I downed tasty beverages. Though it was irritating, I just sucked it up to the price you have to pay for owning a sick truck. So do keep in mind that generally, when HP goes up, MPG goes down. Once you have your truck set up to function like a dream, this would be the perfect time to move on to exterior styling. Now, I think we can all appreciate a stunning paint job on a daily, but not only are they expensive, they are sensitive and can be easily damaged from rocks and any other debris that could be flung up on the road. My daily driven S10 had a full custom paint job, and the bumper became so damaged from driving that it had to be repainted. Parking lots are also a scary place for trucks like this, as others might not care if they ding your paint when they fling the doors of their car open while parked next to you. Vehicle wraps can be a good alternative as they are cheaper, but they are not as permanent either. On the other hand, if you have a good-looking patina truck, everyone else will be avoiding you in parking lots. Most other exterior mods don't have as much of a downside. However, when you start messing with lighting, functions may be affected. You get what you pay for in many cases, and if you cheap out on lighting equipment, you may feel the brunt of it. Nobody wants to struggle to see the road at night with low-grade headlights, and this is definitely a safety issue. So do yourself a favor and don't skimp out on what should be a safe mod. Lastly, let's talk about the interior space of daily driven trucks. Though a good running V8 with a nice exhaust, maybe music to our ears, it's always fun to have a decent sound system. With that being said, amplifiers and subwoofers will increase the audio experience, but they also draw a lot of power. And you may need to add a stronger battery or multiple batteries and even change out your alternator for a higher output version. The most important segment of all is the seating, as this is the part of any truck you touch most. Upgrading to vinyl or leather upholstery can improve the looks of the interior, but these materials can be uncomfortable on hot days. I know cloth interiors are not very trendy these days, but they breathe better, making your seat cozier. So the big question remains, should you customize your daily driven truck? Well, the answer is obviously yes, as who likes to drive a boring vehicle? One of the most frustrating things that can happen while running errands is having trouble finding your vehicle in a parking lot because it doesn't stand out from the crowd. Customizing a truck to create something you can take pride in is an amazing feeling. But as you might have gathered by now, most mods have some sort of opposing effect that can hinder your experience. However, I do believe that if you plan your project right, you can enjoy a stylish ride that turns heads when you roll past them. Well, that just about does it for this video, and we thank you for watching it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future video, and we will catch you next time.